This is the plaintiff, Alan Hansen. He says he was at the dog park with his dog Rocky when the defendant came over to them, and her pit bull grabbed Rocky's head in his mouth and wouldn't let go. He stuck his thumb in the pit bull's eye socket, but the thing still wouldn't let go. When he told the defendant she was going to have to pay his vet bills, the snide lady told him, "Good luck trying to get the money." What a maroon. He's suing for $1,538.35, the amount owed. This is the defendant, Robin Landino. She says it's very hard to determine whose dog's to blame because both her and the plaintiff are responsible dog owners. At the end of the day, both dogs are animals, and littlest things can set them off. No one knows who started it. One minute, everything is okay, and the next minute, it's mayhem. Oh, the plaintiff money for vet bills? She thinks not. She's accused of failing to control her animal.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Alan Hansen?
Yes.
You are suing Robin Landino?
Yes.
For $1,538.35 in vet bills that you incurred when, according to you, her dog attacked your dog at the dog park. Tell me what happened.
I have an 8-year-old greyhound named Rocky, and we've been going to the dog park every day for the last 6 years. This one particular day in September, I was sitting in the dog park with Rocky next to me, lying down, and I was speaking with a friend who was with her dog. And after a little while, this pit bull mix came walking over, followed by her owner, and got into Rocky's face, and I immediately said, "Ma'am, my dog is very skittish around pit bulls because he was attacked twice. He wasn't injured, but he's very, very apprehensive when he's around pit bulls."
Where was he attacked? At that dog park?
Yes. So I told the defendant that my dog was very nervous around pit bulls, and it wasn't her, but I guess a male friend who said, "Well, he's not a pit bull, he's an American bulldog." And that kind of took me back a little. And in the meantime,
American bulldog owners always say that.
Yeah. In the meantime, this dog is like sniffing Rocky all over the place. Rocky is like freaking out. His tail's between his leg. And I'm just about ready to grab Rocky when the two of them started to fight.
How much time had passed there from the moment when you guys met and the moment that they
About
fight?
2 minutes.
So in those 2 minutes, why didn't you pick up Rocky and move? I mean,
Well, because I wasn't sure if the dog was going to just sniff and leave. But when it became apparent that he wasn't going to leave.
after 2 minutes of somebody sniffing me, it's apparent to me they're not going to leave. I don't know. That's kind of my litmus test.
You're not a dog.
I kind of expected the owner to do something. And I guess I should have been more aggressive and said, "Please take your dog away."
So what happened?
It's very similar to his. They were sniffing each other. You don't stop dogs from sniffing. You allow them. I mean, you don't have them on a leash, so you're not pulling them back.
Right.
And they sniff each other. That's what dogs do. They're saying hi, depending on what end they're sniffing. And you let them sniff. And he did say that he was skittish, and and I thought, well, I haven't had a problem yet with Caesar. Why would I think I would have a problem now? And then before you knew it, it was within seconds they were at each other. It just happened. The kids are like dogs are like kids. You don't know how they're going to react sometimes. Rocky had no.
Do you
problems
have
before.
kids?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
My son was a biter when he was in preschool. Don't laugh. He was a biter. I mean, he's 23. He doesn't bite anymore now.
That's a whole other episode for a whole other day.
But it happens. That doesn't mean I'm a bad mom. It's just he's a biter. But Caesar was not a biter. We had been going there.
How long have you had?
I had just adopted him in July.
Okay, and how long had you been going there?
Since July, we had gone there because he was a young dog.
And this happened when?
In September.
Okay.
Yes.
And had you gone every day?
I'm unemployed, so I have been going every day. Gets me out, gets him out. Yeah, almost every day we had been going. It was nice weather. It was all summer long.
Right.
So it was.
And had
nice.
you two met before or not really?
No.
I don't believe so. No.
What ended up? Okay. So the fight begins, and it lasts how long?
Well, very quickly, Rocky ended up on the ground with Caesar holding his head in his jaws. And Rocky's screaming in pain, and I'm on top of Rocky trying to pull him away. And I guess your friend was on top of Caesar trying to pull him away, and Caesar would just not let go. I mean, I actually took my thumb.
Oh, a grip like a pit bull?
Yeah.
Okay. Go on.
Had his whole head in his mouth. And so I, out of desperation, I took my thumb and jammed it into Caesar's eye, thinking, let me get his attention. It was like I did nothing.
I thought that came from the dog. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Tell what happened to Caesar's eye.
he had, we didn't have to take him to the vet, but he had a bad cut by his eye. And, we didn't know how much, there was a lot of blood everywhere because my boyfriend was bleeding. The dogs were bleeding. Everybody was bleeding.
I was bleeding.
Yeah, my
And
dog
what
got.
were you guys all bleeding from? Scratches from the dog?
Trying to get him apart. Trying to get him apart.
So how long were you trying to get the dogs apart?
Oh, it seemed like forever,
I know,
but it had
but it
to be. It
Right.
had to be at least a minute or two.
Yeah, that sounds right. No?
Yeah, that's.
And then what?
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So, are pit bulls more aggressive than the average dog?
Not unless they're trained to be.
So you think it's the owner and not the dog?
I do.
What do you think?
I definitely think it's the owner and not the dog that raised the dog. I mean,
So you think if all things being equal, an owner could train a pit bull and a collie, and the dogs are going to be the same?
No, I think the pit bull is more bred to be more aggressive than normal small.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Going inside the courtroom.
The attendant from the park came over, grabbed the hose and sprayed them, and Caesar immediately let go. Rocky ran, towards the fence, to exit the park, and I followed him, looked at his condition, and said, "I got to get this dog to the hospital."
All right, so you took Rocky to the hospital, and what did they tell you?
They told me we're going to have to put him out. We're going to have to stitch him up, put drains
Wait, put
in.
him out? Kill him?
No.
Right, because I know that didn't happen. What do you mean?
Anesthesia.
Anesthesia.
Right.
Okay, we're going to have to anesthetize him and stitch him up. So how many stitches did they give the dog?
Oh, God. I don't even know.
Do you have
20,
pictures?
30, I have pictures, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, poor Rocky. How's Rocky doing now?
He's doing good.
Good.
He's doing good.
Do you have a picture of Rocky, not a close-up of the stitches, but just a picture?
No. He's a typical white and beige greyhound.
All right, so here's what I need to figure out, Mr. Hands. I need to figure out in any lawsuit, okay, there's two parts to the lawsuit. One is liability and the other one is damages. Clearly there are damages. The damages are that you're out $1,538.35 in vet bills. But I have to figure out liability before I even get to damages. And that means, did the defendant do anything negligently? If I were to put a faultometer here, I would think that it's a lot more your fault since it's your dog that has the problem and the issue. But the first question I have to ask is, does she have any liability? She's in a dog park. Her dog is loose. You tell her that, but it can't be too serious because you don't get up, you don't move, and both of you stand there and let the dog sniff each other. What does she do wrong that should make her fork over $1,500?
She didn't address the fact that my dog was very anxious around
And you did?
pit bulls.
You mean she didn't address it better than you did by having the dog in a dog park, seeing that a pit bull was walking up to it, and not getting up off your bed?
Your Honor, I always check after the dog park, after Rocky was attacked by pit bulls, I always check to make sure if there were any pit bulls in the park. I looked around the entire park. I saw no pit bulls.
And
I
you
came
didn't leave
in.
when this pit bull started sniffing for 2 minutes.
They were walking around the park, and there were
I'm
trees.
just talking about the 2-minute sniff session.
They were sniffing, and Rocky was.
And you didn't leave, so you're not that careful about your dog having contact with pit bulls.
I was very concerned. I was extremely.
And you expressed your concern by continuing to chat with your friend.
No, I didn't
Each of you
continue to
brought me
chat.
affidavits from each of your friends saying it's the other dog that started it. I don't need to see them. They're dogs. I don't care who snarled at who first, folks. They're dogs. I know you think they're your adopted children, but they're dogs. And so they're animals and they behave as animals. It's not a matter of who snarled first. It's a matter of the owners. In other words, when you go to court, I don't find fault with the dog. I find fault with what the owners did. That is the discussion in court when there's a dog bite. So I have to look at the behavior of the owners and see whether, well, first I have to answer the threshold question of, did you do something wrong? You're in a dog park with a loose dog. He tells you, oh, my dog doesn't really like your breed. You say, No, it's actually in America. Let me tell you the difference between America. Other than that, what does she do wrong? The dog's off leash like it's supposed to be. You have fair warning for several minutes and you don't get up. She did the same thing you did. She followed your cue and you did nothing. How am I going to tell her now she has to pay you $1,500? This is how. I'm not.
Dog.
Verdicts for the defendant.
And so with that, the judge rules for the defendant here in this dog case. What's your reaction here? Should you have taken more definitive action now that you know the outcome?
I probably should have been more forceful in letting the person know that Rocky was very, very intimidated by pit bulls.
Why did you get up and go over there and remove him?
It probably happened. You know, my mistake was I just guessed at the time that between the time that Caesar came over and the time they actually fought it at 2 minutes, it was probably more like 30 seconds.
That's enough time for you to go up and forcibly
remove
your dog from the scene.
I grabbed him. Yeah, I did grab him.
Well, I'm talking about before the fight started.
It was before the fight started.
Okay.
I grabbed him before the fight started, and he got out of my grip.
All right. Sir. All right, right around the corner this way. Come on over here. And are you still going back to the same dog run?
Yes, I am.
And he's there?
Yes, he is.
Okay, so how are you going to avoid this happening again?
Probably be much more vigilant of where my dog is and who's around him. I mean, they're going to sniff.
What about you? Do they have to watch out for your dog, or
No,
where's your part?
I never had a problem with them before.
Well, now you have. So now what are you going to do?
Now you watch. Now you got to watch. But it's a dog park. Things are going to happen. What are you going to do? Stay in the house? You're going to get run over by a bus? You're not going to go out of the house anymore?
Harvey?
Okay, Kurt, so the deal here is this, that you have a duty to avert damages, to minimize your damages. If you don't, if you just let them build up, you're going to lose the case just like the plaintiff did. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.